movie star with us. Here you are, dear. And you, sir. Okay. Everybody settle in. Here we go. All right, so first off, Michael Baker is a Film Prize veteran, but he is a first-time Film Prize director. He has written and produced several other films that have been in the Film Prize, including Sid and Marge Have a Problem, which was a fantastic little comedy. And let's actually, why don't we just do brief introductions? Michael, why don't you introduce your young star here?
Sitting next to me is, you may recognize her, this is Meryl Streep. Oh, wait, not yet. This is Alana Gay, and she plays Amani in our little movie. And say hello and talk about yourself for the next 22 minutes.
Hi, my name is Alana Gay, as you heard. I love acting. It's been a blessing, all the accomplishments I've made in the past year. I've done a couple commercials. I've been acting for about 2.5 years now. So.
2.5 years, wow, that's a long time for someone your age. How did you get into acting?
Well, it's always been in my family and in my blood. My mom was in pageants, so. But I got into acting by submitting headshots to local agencies.
Fantastic. And Michael, how did you come across the line?
We, for this film, I'm the writer on it, and we worked on the script long, and just like Garrett said, the day after last Film Prize, on the drive home, we started brainstorming. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? And it took us a long time to really hone in on this script. And when it was written, I realized for the first time that, gee, I'm not good enough an actor to be in it. I couldn't pull off these words myself. I need like really good actors. So we brought in a casting agent and did auditions. And this little munchkin walked in and we said, cancel the rest. It's just amazing when you get the script and somebody understands it the first time right at the audition. And plus she's cute, so we didn't have kittens. And we didn't have a baby, and we didn't have dogs, so I needed a cute girl to put in the movie.
So you guys have another star who's not here today, but who is no less important or fantastic. So tell us a little bit about your
Kevin
leading man.
Page, come on, Kevin Page. Oh, is that who you meant?
That's
Oh wait.
Nice.
Well, let me tell you about Kevin Page before we get to the other guy. Kevin Page walked into the audition room and our jaws hit the floor. He was so good, and I said, well, let me look at this resume. He was bum on the old Dallas and the new Dallas. So you may recognize him from that. He was in the Alamo movie. He was a recurring cast member on Seinfeld, but his real geek cred is being the guy that the robot shot up in RoboCop. If you remember that movie, the robot goes mad and shoots this guy 100 million times. That's Kevin Page. So very well-known actor. And of course, the other guy, the guy in the poster here, he was in all those space shows. Babylon 5, that was the big one he was in. Actually, he was in Babylon 5, in case you didn't know that. He played the bad guy. But that is, of course, Walter Koenig, who was known for the rest of his life as Ensign Pavel Chekhov on the original Star Treks. And it was a thrill to work with him. And, he asked us when we were having dinner, he says, really, why did you pick me for this movie? And I said, what made you think you were our first choice? And he laughed at that, but when we talked about it, I said, we needed somebody who looked like you, 80 years old. He's 81 now, spry. You should have seen him jump over things when we were on set. And he, if you've seen the movie yet, everybody seen it? Okay, so he brought it, right? He's so far from Chekhov. And I told him, I said, I know your work. And he kind of said, yeah, you know my work, warp factor 4, right? And so, I want to mention it that we shot in 2 days, or really a day and a half, because there was a disaster we'll tell you about if you ask. And not once did the whole subject of Star Trek or space movies come up even in all of our talks before. You know, if he would be in the movie. Not once did he mention it, not once did I mention it. And I think for him it was very refreshing. You know, not to be known as the Chekhov guy. And, you know, I said, no, I need an actor with gravitas who looks like you do. And lo and behold, we shot a movie.
So I hear there's a disaster that you want to talk about.
Well, now that you mention it, you know, it was fun listening to Garrett a few minutes ago talking about the rainstorm that came in. We shot in the first weekend of April, and if you think back to that first weekend in April, on the Friday night before there was a tornado that came through Shreveport, if you remember that, and it poured all night. We got up, we were supposed to have a 6 a.m. call on Saturday morning. It was pouring, it was 40 degrees. I called everybody, said go back to sleep, we'll see you at 11. At 11 o'clock I called them, 38 degrees.
38 degrees.
At 11 o'clock I called them back, we'll see you at noon. By noon, we get to the location, we were pushing water out of the way. Everything was filmed outdoors. It was an entire outdoor shoot in Columbia Park, not far from here. And it was so cold. Is Bob Russell, are you here? Okay, so we had the forethought to rent an RV for the weekend so that Kevin, Alana, and Walter had a place to go hibernate. Good thing we did, because he kept the engine running, it was warm, he had spare blankets, and in between cut, you know, he'd run out and cover everybody in quilts. It was so bloody cold. One of the close-ups, if you watch it, you can see Walter's lips just trembling from shivering. And, you know, it was that cold. So, again, you know, it started pouring again, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We huddled under the canopy and said, are we going to wrap this thing? Is it going to, you know, what am I going to do? We have to keep going somehow because we don't get a second chance. Luckily, it cleared up. We did the rest we could the rest of the day, and Sunday morning, we showed back up. You came at 6 a.m., and it was also about 35 degrees that morning. It was brutally cold, but the sun came out. We got some beautiful shots. I think the film gods wanted us to succeed.
Well, and I speaking of film gods and kind of what, so I guess the question, who is Martin Danzig? I think that while I understand the implications of a new voice coming in to watch over these people, can you tell us definitively in your mind who you think Martin Danzig is and who your character is that is coming to replace him? How do you see that kind of as maybe a little bit more tangible words?
I don't know.
Well, then we'll ask.
I'm just the guy which wrote the thing. I don't know who. We have some idea. I'll let you go first.
Okay, so
Can I ask you a question first? Okay. Now, how old are you in
Whose
real
interview
life?
is this? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
How old are you in real life?
in real life, I'm 10 years old.
10 now. And the person you were playing in the movie, how old was she?
About 2,531 years old.
Give or take a few months.
You were saying. Right. So give us those insights. Maybe you can tell us what you think first.
Okay, so for my interpretive of Amani, I feel like she's a young replacement or a refreshment of what the universe should be like, and not just sad and lonely and bad things happening in the world, but actually enjoying life and having fun. So I think she just kind of carries that whole sunshine feeling.
So what does that make Martin Danzig? If you're the new life, and I mean, obviously he's kind of the on the way out, but what is it that? Why do you think that his character got to be that way? I mean, does it would it scare you as the character to look at that and go, how can I avoid becoming what Martin has become?
Yes.
And how would you go about avoiding that that same
I think
curse?
just staying positive and helping everyone. Because as Amani, the character, I want to help everyone in the movie. So,
Very good. Michael?
Wise words from someone so young, right? I'm going to start with the script and then tell you my interpretation of what this whole mess was about. Basically, you humans are really a plague on the planet. And of course we know that because we're destroying the planet and we pollute and we throw things and whatnot. And we're not nice to each
Gen
other.
C.
Gen C. And we're not nice to each other. And earlier today, there's some people wandering the streets who aren't sure where they are. And, I saw one of them get taken away in handcuffs. And come on, what is wrong with us as a civilization and as humanity? So the movie, for me, was really started out being an indictment of human beings. But I'm a happy person generally, and I didn't want to leave it that way. And I thought, you know what? What if the old guard, the old guardians, the people watching out for us are overtaken by what we've become as humans? And what if they're given a second chance? Kind of like the guy with the flood in the boat, Noah. And, it's not meant to be a religious movie, but it's I didn't want to leave it with the destruction of the planet. So I guess we can call it a pre-apocalyptic, pre-apocalyptic movie. Thank you. But the idea that there's hope for the future, there really is. And one of the lines we put in was, so we're not going to abandon them. And she says,
We feel they still have a future.
we feel they still have a future. And the idea is, well, who's we? Who's they? Who's we? I'll leave that up to you to decide. But that's the basic premise of it, is that, yes, we're very strong in how well we develop the capacity to kill each other and destroy the places we live and infect. But yet, I think we humans still deserve a future.
Very well said. Woo. Michael Baker, Alana Gay, thank you guys so much for being here at the festival. Guys, give them a round of applause. And, of course, let's leave with the wisest words of all.
The wisest, very true.
Do you know the words?
Wait, before we do.
Okay.
Before we do the wisest words of all, I'm going to say something that may make me cry. 3 years ago, I knew absolutely nothing about filmmaking. Absolutely zero, but I had written a cute little comedy. You may have seen it, Sid and Marge Have a Problem. And I met Chuck, our cameraman and DP, and I met Catherine Hatcher, who's had success here. And I said, I want to make a movie. Nobody's rushing out to put me in their movies as an actor, so I'm going to make my own damn movies. How do I do that? And they said how and what to do, and we made Sid and Marge, and they said, oh, you need to enter it in the film prize. I said, what's the film prize? I don't know anything about this. And she told me about it, and we entered it in the film prize, and it made it into the film prize. Gregory Kallenberg, the Pied Piper of all this, always says, this will change your life, this is a life-changing weekend, this and that. That's not BS. I have to say that the Louisiana Film Prize changed my life in ways totally unexpected. And with that, 3, 2, 1. Viva la Film Prize!
Very good. Thank you guys so much. All right. Very well done. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to give this to you. Thank you so much for being here. Let's make it. I hope you're having fun. Okay, we have a few more interviews lined